Right, now then my friends, well in today's vlog, well first of all let me just explain why I've actually pulled off at the services, pardon the pun. Nobody should be pulling off at the services unless you're an electric car owner, because then you literally are a, never mind, let's move swiftly on. I've actually had to pull over at the services because my car's crashed, and I don't mean like crashed in a sort of like accident way. The computer on board computer system has crashed and it just says loading map. Here's a little video of it. Right, there you go, look. It's just frozen. Porsche, not doing anything. On here it just says loading map, but nothing. It's just locked up and frozen, and it's been doing that all the way down the motorway. Nothing for about half an hour. So I've got to stop and reset the car. So let's turn that off. We go. There you go. So it's actually frozen, so I've had to pull over and restart the car like a computer, which is a little bit dangerous, but it's the Gen 1 models that have an issue because they've had that many different recalls. And I did a video the other day where now Porsche are actually not selling any of the Gen 1 models. It's not the Gen 2, but the first generation Taycan, apparently, according to news reports, they're not allowed to sell them. They've had to take them off of sale. So that's basically devalued the Gen 1 models by quite a few £1,000s, and I'm going to get into that because I had a valuation the other day on one of my videos, which I think was about 26 grand. I'll go into it in a bit, and it's now devalued it by thousands, and you won't believe by how many thousands. So what I want you to do is share this video, give us a thumbs up, and also hit the subscribe button to push this video out there to educate people on the reality of EV ownership. We're taking a trip down the M1 today. When my car eventually starts working again, you've got to do like a computer, switch it off and switch it on again, and reset it and reboot the car, which is a bit weird. And we're going to go down and meet my mate David Joyce, who is a racing driver, a pilot, amongst other things, and he's very genned up on electric cars. And then I think we might go to a little motor museum as well, so stick with me, it's going to be quite an interesting video. So as I say, hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and also share this video. Now without further ado my friends, hopefully if the car starts, let's go. Electricity, Tesla girls, Tesla girls. You know, I think OMD got it right, didn't they? Right, what I've got to do is I've got to lock the car. Right, so I've locked the car, and now what I need to do is wait 10 minutes for the car to reset itself, and then it should be okay, and we should get a map loaded up and the system should be all right. But you have to wait 10 minutes for it to reboot, etc., and do its thing. So I don't know what I'll have to do till then, just pass a little bit of time and look at the shape of clouds. It gives you the, you know, I mean, it gives you time to appreciate the shape of clouds.
One of us.
No, I'm not one of you. Ooh, sound of an engine, isn't that nice? Right, well, ooh, don't you love the sound of an engine? Right, let's hopefully now it should start. So let's get in the car and fingers crossed that it's going to start, because I can't see anything. I can see the speedo, but other than that I can't see anything else unless it restarts. So let's fingers crossed. Here we go. Unlock the car, let's get in. Right, let's switch it on. There we go. Come on. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Yes, we're back in action. We are back in action. Right, we're back in action. It's working. Reboot. It's like a computer, you see. Just reboot it and all is good. Right, let's get on the road. I'm going to let you know the price of the car now, what it's lost overnight, thanks to Porsche taking the sale of the Gen 1 Taycans off sale. And the reason they've took them off sale, by the way, is because of the battery. Apparently, there's a danger that it might set fire, so they've taken it off sale. Allegedly, according to all the news reports, but only Gen 1 Taycans. So that leaves Gen 1 Taycan owners like myself, well, basically it leaves you with a worthless car, doesn't it? Anyway, come on, onwards. It's kind of interesting really, because the Gen 1 with generation 1 basically of the Porsche Taycan, as I said in a previous video, which lots and lots of people said, it's only the Gen 1, it's only the Gen 1. Yes, it is only the generation 1 Taycan. The first generation of Porsche Taycan has been, allegedly I will say, because it's in all the news stories, in all the newspapers, but I'm going to just say allegedly, in the newspapers and online, it says that the generation 1 Porsche Taycan, Porsche have now allegedly instructed the dealerships to take them off from sale, and that is because of the battery. Allegedly, I'll cover myself again, could set fire and burn your house down, which actually I did have a letter that stated that. It says don't park your Taycan near your house, but then they removed that letter. But I actually got that on camera, and because of that they've now taken it off sale, supposedly. And that's left Taycan owners, generation Taycan owners, Gen 1 Taycan owners, in the lurch really. And I actually looked at the price and it was 20, I'll give you the exact figures. I think it was 26 grand or something the other day that this car was worth on We Buy Any Car. And I did one today, and I think it's around about 20 grand, so it's lost 6 grand overnight. Now also I've said that Porsche are going to do me a deal to get into the generation 2 Taycan, but it does make you wonder, doesn't it? The generation 2 Taycan is fairly new. Now this generation 1 has been riddled with problems and recalls. It's had more recalls than Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's been an absolute nightmare. I mean, this car's had its fans replaced, it's had indicator lights replaced, it's had the onboard computer system replaced, it's had the heating system replaced, an air conditioning system replaced, it's had some aerial thing replaced. Honestly, in fact, basically I've had a new car over the last 4 years, because there's hardly any original parts of it left. So it's had that many recalls. But it does make you wonder with the Gen 2, have they ironed out those problems? Is that going to have any issues as you go along? Because you don't know. It's been out roughly a year now, so I'm not sure. If anyone's got a Gen 2 Taycan, let me know if you've had any issues. In fact, you can probably find out online how many recalls Gen 2 has had. Anyway, we're off to see, as I say, David Joyce, who he trains people on how to use electric cars, etc. He's a racing car driver, he's also a pilot, and he's a big petrol head, but he's not against electric cars. He's been on my videos before. So we're going to head over there and might have a little surprise for you if you like cars and you like classic cars. So stay tuned. Oh, so I was saying, Porsche have offered me a Gen 2, Generation 2 Porsche Taycan, and they've also offered me excellent figures on it, so I can actually not lose money on this car. But the interesting thing is, they don't want this car back. just want me to hand it back to the finance company, and then what I'll do is I'll pay the finance company the 12 grand or whatever it is off, and then Porsche will do me a deal on the new car that will then cover that, so I've covered my money on it. They don't actually want this car back, so it goes to show really nobody wants these Generation 1 Taycans, so they are pretty much worthless. I mean, who's going to want a car that basically could catch fire? Now, all the Taycan owners, the Gen 1 Taycan owners, have had letters from Porsche stating not to charge your car past 80% and to take it to the nearest dealership, and they're going to put some software on it that monitors the battery, and it gives diagnostics back to Porsche head office to let you know whether there's any, let them know whether there's any dangers with the car, etc. Now, I went to charge my car yesterday. I'd driven up from Nottingham with Sarah and the kids, and I dropped them off at home, and I then went to charge my car up at a BP pulse charger in Leeds, and I plugged it in and it was charging really fast. I think it was very powerful, and the fans came on the car, and it actually started to go into the red because I've got the battery monitor here and the heat of the battery, and it started to go into the red. And at 90%, because I know you're going to say, but they've told you not to charge it past 80%. I did, so I didn't listen to what they said, so it's my own fault. I charged it up to 90%. It then started to overheat, and a note came up on the dashboard, and it said that it's basically down to slow charging. It had throttled the charging, so the software had kicked in, the onboard software had kicked in, and then I was only getting a few like volts in it or whatever it is, so it had actually reduced the charging on it. So the software, I'm guessing, must be working, because it was really hot on there, and I thought, right, so I just stopped it and I unplugged it. So there obviously is an issue with the battery, but what are they going to do? I mean, they've got to replace, surely Gen 1 Taycan owners should really just have the entire battery system replaced, or maybe, and I don't know whether you'll agree with me on this, it makes the car not fit for purpose. Surely Porsche should just recall all of the Gen 1 Taycans and just hold the hand up and say, look, you know what, it's not worked out, the Gen 1. Gen 2, great, fantastic, but Gen 1, we need to take them all back. And people who, this is on PCP, but what about if you've bought the car? What about people who've actually paid for the car outright? They should surely take the cars back and give them the money back. Do you not agree? Let me know in the comment section down below. So, David, who we're going to meet today, is actually in a lot of the Facebook forums of evangelists and electric car ownership forums, and he keeps a close eye on them. And he sent me a few comments over that are to do with me, and they're quite cutting, I have to say. In fact, very cutting. And he's going to read a couple of them for you. He found amusing, so did I. I mean, it isn't amusing because it's rather quite brutal. Electric car owners and evangelists are very protective of their electric cars and the electric car agenda, and because I've gone against that agenda, then they get rather abusive about it, because I own an electric car, and because I've slated an electric cars. I don't think I have actually slated them. All I've done is point out their you know, the negative parts of owning an electric car. There are negatives and positives of electric cars. See what I did there? But there's more negatives. And because I've done that, they don't like it. They don't like the fact that I've pointed out that it's a pain in the backside to charge, you know, and all the waiting around time, etc. I mean, if you clock up the amount of hours over the last 4 years that I've wasted charging my car, I mean, it must mount up to weeks and weeks of my life that I've wasted drinking coffee and just watching the shapes of clouds and the shapes of crisps. Anyway, he'll read a few of these out to you, and you don't laugh, right? You probably will. Now, I actually believe, and you probably, some of you will agree with me, and some people will disagree with me, but I believe that there are, because the government are trying to push us into the electric car route. Remember when they pushed us into diesels, by the way, and then they said that diesels are bad for the environment and bad for you, even though they tried to push us into them years ago and tell us that they were better for the environment, but then they were wrong. They backtracked on it. Anyway, or is that just me? I believe that there's paid shills out there and automated bots to actually go and push the EV agenda upon people. Now, Morag, for one, hi Morag, because I know you'll be watching. I still think, I could be wrong, I still think that she is paid to actually push the EV agenda, because she's always on my channel, always commenting and always saying, oh, Lee's lying, Lee loves his car, Lee loves his car, electric cars are the future, they're brilliant, you know, they're trying to push this agenda. And I may be wrong. Hi Morag, I'd actually like to meet Morag in person, and I have asked her, but she said no, because that would be a brilliant video to sit down face to face with Morag and talk about electric cars. I actually think I'd get on all right with her. So Morag, if you're watching, why not take me up on the offer? If you believe in electric cars that much, take me up on the offer. Pop in the comment section. Come on, who wants an interview face to face on camera with Morag? And if you watch this channel, you know who Morag is. Come on, pop it in the comment section. And there you go, my friends, a smart motorway. Did you see that? Two vehicles there stranded, no hard shoulder, because some bright spark thought, I know, let's get rid of the hard shoulder because we don't need it, we can use it as a lane. And then if they break down, well, we can just have signs that say, you know, stranded vehicle, move over. Even though people have actually lost their lives because of that. This is the same people that are telling us that, oh, go and buy an electric car, they're the future. 2035, you're not allowed to sell electric, you're not allowed to sell petrol cars or diesel cars anymore. You are only allowed to buy electric cars. This is from the same people who have that logic. A smart motorway. It's never been smart. It couldn't be dumber. In fact, there's another one here, another stranded vehicle apparently, down here. This is nuts. Interestingly enough, my daughter Caitlin rang me a couple of days ago. They've just got, her and her fiance's just got an electric car, a Vauxhall I think it is, and she rang me up panicking because they were down to about 6%. They'd only had the car a couple of days, and there was at a BP Pulse charger in Mansfield near Costa Coffee or whatever, and it said, oh, it kept erroring, they can't get the car to charge. She says, and we don't know what to do. We've come over the road to Golden Eagle, which is a pub, and she says, and we've tried to charge it there and it still says charging error. She says, I don't know what to do. People sell these cars and they don't, a lot of them dealerships don't give proper training on it. David will explain this later on, but she was panicking. I said, well, did you plug it in first before you tapped your card on the machine? And she says, I think we tapped the card first. She says, well, some of them you have to tap the card first then plug it in, because if you plug it in first and then tap the card, it doesn't work. And she says, oh, well, we've even tried to download the app, because you've got apps to download on some, contactless payments on another. There's just no continuity with any of the charging network at all. It should all be exactly the same. I don't think you should have to download an app at all, and these companies try and get you into downloading their app, giving them your details, lane closure again, giving them your details and giving them your data, and it is wrong. There shouldn't be any apps to download. It should be just be contactless payment. That's it. Why have you got to download an app to pay? And by the way, you cannot pay by cash, obviously, but I mean, I'm not sure that would make sense unless you have an actual, like a filling station. You can have a charging station, which GridServe have actually done. GridServe have done charging stations and charging forecourts. They're the only ones that are close to it, but you can't pay cash. You still have to pay contactless or use their app and get a discounted rate, and that's how they get you to download their app. It's 70 pence per kilowatt or whatever, but if you download their app, it's, I don't know, 10 pence cheaper or whatever. So they've got you really by the short and curlies, unless you manscape. Does make you wonder, doesn't it? Would you answer me in the comment section, would you feel comfortable and safe driving my car now after Porsche have sent a letter out saying that it could set fire and there's a danger because of the battery setting fire in general? Would you feel safe sat where I'm sat? Would you be okay with it, driving around thinking, it's fine, it'll be all right? I mean, to be fair, I've had it 4 years and touch wood, it's not set fire yet, so I've been okay. But would you feel safe? It's like sitting on a ticking time bomb, isn't it? You're sitting here and you're thinking, okay, I'm now sat on a load of batteries underneath my backside that could set fire. Would you feel safe? Especially when they've sent out a letter and said, yeah, there's an issue with the batteries that could set fire. I mean, it does make you feel a little uneasy, I have to say. Right, my friends, come on in. David Joyce.
Hi, Lee.
Are you all right?
I'm really good, thank you.
Brilliant. Now then, you have been on the video before.
A couple of times, yeah.
For the people that haven't seen you, racing driver, pilot, retired racing driver, pilot,
yeah,
current pilot,
yes,
okay, marketing guru,
possibly, yeah,
and not clickbait, marketing.
Proper marketing, original marketing.
Original marketing.
In the automotive industry.
In the automotive industry. You've got a motoring background as well. That's how we met. And Porsche, by the way, it's his fault. he had a yellow Porsche, and I went, I like that. And then ever since then, I got a Porsche. So technically,
Yeah,
right,
my fault, wasn't it?
it's your fault that Porsche have lost sales of the Taycan due to my videos. And by the way, Porsche have now, I don't know whether you heard about this, and it's not clickbait, Gen 1 Taycans have been taken off of sale, allegedly. No, it's been in the news. It's not just me, it's been in the news. It's online, it's in all the magazines and newspapers.
Why? Why have they done that, Lee?
Because the batteries on the Gen 1 models catch fire and allegedly catch fire, but they also sent a letter out which I got on camera before they changed it, and it said, don't park your car near to the house.
Okay. Lee, I've got a question for you.
Go on then.
How many Taycans do you personally know have actually caught fire?
Me personally?
Yeah, you personally. Not hearsay, not clickbait. Personally. You go around Taycan forums, I know, because I've seen you in there. So, personally, how many?
None.
None?
None.
Ah, there's a bit of a problem then, isn't it? So, I knew you were going to say that, actually.
Right.
Just as a little bit of sort of preparation, knowing that we were coming here today, which is not that far away from my house, so thank you for coming to me. But since you've never seen a Taycan on fire, I've bought you a little gift. And
it's a burnt Taycan.
So it's a Master Edition, limited.
A limited edition Porsche Taycan that's burnt. I'm presuming that you set that on fire yourself.
I did, yes.
There we go, look. So now I can actually say...
You didn't say you've seen one on fire.
I've seen a burnt Taycan.
Now, doesn't that make all of it all right now? It makes life
a
lot more honest.
But what I'm also going to say is, I should pop that there, I looked online on We Buy Any Car, other ones are available, right? I looked online, and the other day I did a price to see how much it was worth, and I did it on a video here, right? And it was worth a valuation of £26,220.
That much?
Yeah, that's what it was worth the other day. But since Porsche have actually said we can't now sell any Gen 1 Taycans, and they're telling dealers to take them off of sale, allegedly, right? It's now worth 20,500. So overnight,
6,000.
It's lost £6,000. Thanks, Porsche. So basically, and also, by the way, Porsche don't want my car back, right? I've got that, so they'll do me a deal, but they don't want it back. So basically, my car is worthless. Even Porsche don't want it back.
To be honest, though, I'd take it.
You'd take it?
Absolutely.
Don't park it close to the house. Anyway, you've actually got some things that we're going to read. We're going to go into, we're at the Great British Car Journey today, which I've been to before, and it is absolutely fun. It really is good here, isn't it?
It is. It's an excellent facility. It's unique. It's always busy. There's an event here every weekend. In fairness, I don't think I've seen an EV event here yet, and I do live quite locally to it. Do you know what? I think this Saturday there's a Jaguar event. I might just bring my I-Pace down to it.
Don't park it near the building. We don't want any classic cars going up.
I don't know if you know, but actually the I-Pace and the Taycan have the same batteries.
Do they?
They are, and they're manufactured by LG. So,
can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Do you not think Porsche, I'll call it Porsche, right?
Thank
you. Do you not think that they should take these cars back?
No. We've just discussed a few minutes ago how many have we seen that's caught fire?
No.
So why should
actually, sorry, one.
So no, you know, it's not been that long ago, and you know, let's not be naive. And people talk about EVs catching fire, and it's quite a common let's call it a myth or comment, whatever you want to call it, that's propagated within social media. We haven't seen one, so yeah, there may have been some, we don't know, but not that many years ago. Remember, I worked for Vauxhall,
Yeah.
where we met
Yeah.
those years ago. The Zafira had this quite common feature of catching fire. Never mentions that, and you know, it was pre-EV. It did have a 12-volt battery in it, in fairness, but they caught fire. There's hundreds of car fires every day, and they're not EVs. So, you know, why should they give a recall and give money back? Not necessary. Let's go and have a coffee.
We'll go and have a coffee, because also you're going to read some some comments from evangelists, and believe me, they're a bit venomous, to say the least.
Yeah.
Let's go and have a look at some real cars. And by the way, I'm going to ask you a question. You sit on the fence with electric cars, right? You've got one. You've also got a Porsche as well.
Two Porsches.
Two Porsches.
Yeah.
Two Porsches that aren't electric. You've got a museum here, right? In the future, let's be honest, this Taycan is not going to be in a museum, and not any electric cars.
Time will tell. Time will tell. You know, we're talking about the present. 40 years, we actually don't know where we're going to be. Probably won't affect you or not. And something I do, you're right about sitting on the fence. Can I see the benefits of an EV? Yeah, absolutely. I own one. It costs me, I'm not even going to call it pennies to run, because as you know, I've solar on the house, and it charges for free. It's never in my ownership been to a public charger, and if I do charge it without using my batteries at home to charge it, it's 6.7p a kilowatt hour. What was the last amount you actually paid to charge this?
To charge that?
Kilowatt hour.
A kilowatt hour? Crikey.
I'm guessing it was in the 60s.
Yeah, 60 pence or something.
Okay. So it's 10 times cheaper the way I do it. So that's a pretty good reason. Our I-Pace is 400 horsepower, not that far from this. It's stunning luxury, and I know that your viewers and your subscribers are going to say, yeah, but you know what, it's lost a lot of money. Yeah, it has. It was £80,000 when it was new. I bought it at just about 3 years old with 23,000 miles on it at, you know, early 20s. So am I bothered about depreciation? No. If it depreciates £5,000 in my ownership, I really am not bothered.
But who's going to buy a second-hand EV?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but not as bad as you. You bought a new one.
on that bombshell, let's go in and have a look at some real cars. God, we're supposed to walk away now like this, and then it goes to the... But I need to go back for the camera. Right, Morag likes MGs, right?
Yeah.
So this is for Morag. Morag, this is an MG, right? Not the one you've got with batteries in it. This is an MG. Do you reckon you could see me and Morag in there, me driving and Morag in the passenger seat there?
Do you know, I think that'd be a real romantic
Just like
gesture.
it
Yeah,
would,
I
wouldn't
mean, get an invite.
Yeah. Morag, I'm inviting you to come on the channel. There we go. So this Mini here is one of the last Minis ever, and a lady owns it, and it's basically her pension, because if this goes for sale, it could fetch anything. I mean, that's a proper Mini. Quick question, David. Come on, cars back then, better designs.
Yeah, happy times. I've just said I had 3 of these, the Mark 1 Escorts,
I mean,
Mark 2 Estate. Really, really happy times. And powered by petrol.
powered by
Would you
petrol.
believe it?
I know, but I mean, come on, the designs of cars nowadays, I mean, they're a bit rubbish, aren't they? I mean,
Well, they're rubbish in some people's eyes, and in other people's eyes, they're not. You know what? I think we're getting old.
I think that's probably the case. Yeah. The Morris Marina. Okay, back in the day then, I'm going to admit, there were some dodgy cars back then.
Yeah, you're learning.
The Morris Marina and what was the other one? With the Austin Allegro.
Yeah, that was the first one with a square steering wheel. And,
Yeah.
and some cars have now gone back to that.
There's a square steering wheel. See, it was ahead of its time. The Austin Allegro. The V6, the V8 Rover, the V8 Rover. Didn't the gaffer, he's the gaffer, didn't he have a Rover, one of them?
He's the gaffer. You can try it on with him. He's the gaffer.
Pretty sure he did, where he threw a load of like parking tickets in the back of his car, from memory. What have we got here then?
Well, this one brings back a lot of memories, Lee, to be honest. This is a Vauxhall Victor. It's a FE, it's a transcontinental. They did a sport version of it as well, 2,300. You're now thinking, how does he know so much about that?
Yeah.
I passed my test in one identical to that. My dad bought a brand new one in 1973, HJU 474L.
I wonder whether that would still show up online.
I really should look. Yeah, I'm guessing that, you know, by now, in some of the comments, there's a comment, isn't there? So we're not going to have to look online. But yeah, very, very fond memories.
What did it drive like from memory?
Well, it wasn't the first car I drove. My mum had a Riley Elf and my granddad had an Austin. But it was 1975, 76, somewhere around there, when I took my test. And after I'd passed my test in it, my dad very kindly used to give me the keys to go and see my girlfriend, which of course is now my wife, in the 70s.
What?
Great cars. Very, very nostalgic.
Look at that. Quick question, and for the viewers out there as well, out of the cars that I show you in here, and you've seen today, you can answer this at the end. Which one would you have? Which, if you could take it, but you can't answer that till the end.
Okay.
Keep them in suspense.
Yeah, okay, let's answer it at the end. But
Okay.
I love the Reliant Scimitar.
Yeah.
Clearly there's not an EV in here, but I wouldn't pick that anyway. Clearly there's not a 911 in here. It's the Great British Car Journey. Always fancied a Scimitar. I had the Quick Escorts. Probably right now the Scimitar, but I might change my mind.
What would I pick?
You would pick the Capri.
That's easy. Let's have a look around. I can see it over there. The Capri. Look at the dials on there. See, you don't have to restart this car. We're just gonna send a message to Ford here, right? That's
I know, do you know what? I know what's coming, because whilst your viewers can't see what's in front of us, I can.
that's I've just shown them it actually.
Okay.
That's a Capri, not what they've brought out now, right? Ford, shame on you, right? For actually putting a Capri name on that garbage battery on wheels, right?
Did you know they did a 2.8 injection version of this? It's
No.
called the Brooklands. It was a monster.
I know it was a bit light on the back end, wasn't it?
Well, do you know, in the whole of my life on the road, I've only ever lost the back end on 2 cars, and one of them was a Capri. It was a 3-litre S, to be fair, and at the time I didn't have the alleged talent that I've got now, and the other one ironically was an MG midget, which there's got to be one of those in here.
I mean, Ford have really ruined the Capri name and then also the Mustang as well. Because, I mean, the Mustang electric car.
You know that things move on, Lee, don't they? And yeah, I know we have a bit of banter about EV this and ICE that. Times change. And I guess from a marketing point of view, and remember, you know, it's partially how I made my career, that, you know, they're going to take a brand and, you know, some people are buying brand. You know, some people even buy Porsches just because it's a Porsche. Would you believe it?
Well, I would. I might be that person.
Yeah, buy on brand.
But Renault, the new Renault 5 EV.
We looked at that, didn't we?
Yeah.
A few weeks ago.
And they've done the proper job. It's deserved of the badge Renault 5. Even James May said he'd have one.
Yep, maybe we should go and try one of those Renault 5s.
I reckon we should do. That'd be good, actually. You can
Yeah.
drive it, I'll film. There we go. Oh, and then we'll swap around.
Sounds like a challenge.
Brilliant. Come on, onwards. The Austin Princess with a vinyl roof. Did you ever have a car with a vinyl roof?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No. I think I did have one with a Webasto sunroof, but not a total vinyl one like that. No. Before my time, Lee.
I actually remember my dad had a Ford Cortina, I think it was, a blue one, and he took it in to have the roof vinyled. It was the in thing at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Hey, do you know what? It was like having the ducks on the wall.
It was,
At
yeah.
Coronation Street. Same thing.
Is there a fad with electric cars? Apart from... Actually, what you could add to an electric car is, what would be really good, we could start this trend, adding a fire retardant material to the roof.
So here's another one, a bit of my personal history, Lee. It's an MGB GT, true British sports car. I'd always liked the car, and I particularly liked the BGT V8 with a big monster engine in it. So I do like big monster petrol engines. You know, so anybody that says that I don't, they're not quite grasping it. I went to buy one of these in 1978 in Aberdeen. To be fair, the salesman was really rude to me, which is not unusual in sales car dealerships. I asked to buy one. He said, I've got one out in the back. Took me to see it, and I remember it really clearly. It was white and it was P-Reg. And I said, well, no, I really want a new one. He said, they don't make them anymore. He didn't like the flippant comment that I made, which was, well, yeah, but they did make them for the American market. I said, get me an American one and change it to right-hand drive. And he seemed to think I was taking the proverbial, and I wasn't. At the time, I could certainly afford it. And then on the way home, back to the flat that I had in Aberdeen at the time, I went past the Fiat garage, and on the turntable in the Fiat garage, they'd got a Fiat X19 just spinning around. And I just thought, that looks a really cool car. I called in to have a look at it. It was metallic black with chamois leather interior, cream interior, 1300 engine. And the guy in the dealership said, can I help you? And I said, well, yeah, I'm interested in that one. And he wasn't rude, but he said, oh, well, you know, sort of that's limited edition. I said, is there any chance of driving it? He said, no. I thought, here we go again. You know, I'm being sort of treated badly by 2 salesmen in the same day. And then he said, yeah, but my sales manager's got one. It's not limited edition, but you can drive that if you want. And to cut the long story short, he gave me the keys to his sales manager's car and said, just go and take it. I was in my teens at the time, and I said, what, do you want to come with me? He said, no, just take it for the afternoon. And at the time we'd been involved with quite a lucrative salvage with the company that I worked for, Underwater Salvage. And the result was I bought a metallic black limited edition Fiat X19. It was called the Lido. Your subscribers can now look it up. 1300 Fiat X19 Lido. I didn't have it that long because I think we spoke earlier on in the car park. I didn't have the talent that I've supposedly got now, and I made a bit of a mess of it. But I do have an identical one, not the original one. I've got a T registered, 78T registered Fiat X19 Lido in my garage.
Ford Granada. You see, David? Ford Granada, the Sweeney. Can you see him driving around in a Ford electric car? And the professionals with the Capri. You can't see Bodie and Doyle like turning up in a electric Ford Capri.
Okay, I'll give you that. We didn't mention the TR7 back there, but what does the TR7 mean?
I know what you're going to say.
Go on.
Purdy.
Absolutely.
Everybody fancied Purdy, didn't they?
Too true, yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine it? Would it have the same thing though if she had a Tesla?
Do you know what? We need to be really careful here because, quite honestly, she's the sort of person that probably does have. Or maybe a Prius.
Oh, no, not a Prius. Nobody has a Prius. What have we got here, David?
Well, this will be a Scimitar GTE. We mentioned earlier that one of my favourite cars. Do you know what, though, in here, in this little bit, there's a few that, you know, could just possibly tip the balance. Made, I think, in Tamworth, Ford V6 engine. And every time anybody ever mentions a Scimitar, they always say Princess Anne had one.
Nice. And look at this in here. The mobile phone.
A product of the 70s and 80s.
And you probably got a better signal on it. There's Princess Anne over there. Now, Formula One cars, right? It's not about the cars. You're a racing driver.
You do know there's a series called Formula E, don't you?
Yeah.
Before we go down this route.
Yeah, there is. And I've been to it and it's just boring. I mean, you might as well just play Scale Extra, can't you? But Formula One cars, you've got your drivers back in the day, right? Say, and I'm going to say who was my hero, was James Hunt, right? Back in the day.
Hunt the Shunt.
Yeah.
That was his nickname. Yeah. Very appropriate after what Max did yesterday.
What was that?
Max had a little bit of an altercation with George Russell in the Barcelona Grand Prix. And allegedly, he deliberately drove into him.
Oh.
Well, looking at the video, it wasn't allegedly. He did. Anyway.
But back in the day, racing drivers like that, they were better. It was more...
They were different.
They were more controversial.
They were different.
They were controversial, weren't they?
They were different.
They were different. He's not getting involved in this one.
I worked with a number of race drivers over the years. I've been very lucky and very privileged. One of the true tops is Sir Jackie Stewart.
Yeah.
What a lovely, lovely man. Yet, you know, sort of absolute demon behind the wheel that, you know, his persona changed. But Sterling Moss is another one. Sterling Moss. I did a lot of work with him, and I've got some. They're not actually worth an awful lot because he used to sign anything, to be fair. But I've got some particularly nice mementos at home on my wall from Sir Sterling. Different days, different psyche.
Fangio.
Yeah, one Manuel Fangio.
Yeah, it was. See, back in the day, I mean, who have you got now? You've got.
Well, we've got Max.
Yeah.
We've got George Russell. We've got Lando Norris.
But they didn't get drunk the night before and womanise everybody, did they? Like James Hunt.
No. Yeah. Well, where did I miss out on that with this?
I mean, James Bond, he wouldn't have an electric car, would he?
Well, today, no, definitely not. And does it fit with the persona? Probably not. But you know, 20 years time, Lee, and let's not forget, in a few years' time, you buy a new car. Currently, it's going to be an EV.
That's until they change it when the next, you know.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but you know, we're a democracy, and that's one of the things that I really, really don't get with the love-hate and the evangelists. And the EV haters, as we said earlier on, I sort of sit on the fence, but I do get EVs and I own one. There's no need for the venom, and I think we're going to talk about venom in a short while, aren't we?
We are, over a little bite to eat and a drink. What have we got here, David?
That is Vera's Land Rover.
Vera from the
Vera from the TV, up north.
up north.
Yeah, up north.
And it's automatic.
It is automatic because I don't think she'd got a manual driver's license, so it was converted especially for her. And I think they've had it here for about the last 6 months. I remember in the local news that it was here. Very unique Land Rover.
Back to the Future, obviously synonymous with it. You know what I'm going to say.
Well, you've got more chance of finding bags of white powder in this than you have of finding anything electric. Designed by John DeLorean, built in Belfast. The Conservative government, Maggie, democratically elected Conservative government, I might add, poured millions into the DeLorean company, and then it all failed by John DeLorean got caught in a drugs heist.
Really?
Yeah.
88 miles an hour, it'll take you back to the future.
Or to where electric vehicles are commonplace.
Ah, you see, maybe the TV movie or the movie Back to the Future actually showed us that there are no electric cars, and you wouldn't get to 88 miles an hour because it had run out of charge before you got to that if it was electric.
But it'd do it damn quickly.
Ah, now then, we have here a hydrogen powered car.
Well, could this be the future?
A lot of people say it is. So maybe electric isn't the future and hydrogen is.
Well, I'm not really convinced, Lee, right now, because the technology, is perhaps where EVs were 20 years ago. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't. Maybe it will sit nicely between a full EV, a hybrid, and maybe even some legacy ICE engines. Because contrary to, what a lot of people believe, petrol engine is going to be around for a long time. But is it the future? I'm not convinced. And one reason for that is because hydrogen's a very difficult medium to work with. It's volatile, and we talk about EV fires. Well, these go up a lot better, and you can't even see the flames with hydrogen burning. But generally, they talk about hydrogen powering a car using a fuel cell. Hydrogen's expensive to make. You use a lot of electric in some forms of manufacture, and then during the fuel cell transfer, it turns the hydrogen into electricity that powers an electric motor. I mean, you might as well cut out the middleman, mind you, which is hydrogen.
Was the Zeppelin hydrogen?
Indeed it was.
And that set on fire, didn't it? Burst into flame.
It went quite well. Yeah.
It did, yeah. So maybe not the future. So, if you do come here, it's not an advert for them, by the way, and we're not sponsored, you can actually drive these cars. There's a selection of different cars that you can drive. If you go on to their website, which is drivedadscar.com, and you can actually come here and drive them. I'm going to have to come back and drive the Capri. I reckon it's got to be done. It's got to be done. I've got the perfect catch line, right, for Porsche.
Oh, I'm probably going to dread this.
They are. What about this, right? Porsche, come home to a real fire.
I think that's been done before, Lee, but not necessarily with the Porsche.
We're from the era, right, where you had a car like this, and you, with your first girlfriend or whatever, you tried to impress them, you revved it up, you had the big exhausts on, the bigger the exhaust the better, the bigger the spoiler the better, right? How are you going to impress a girl now turning up in a Tesla? I mean, it's not going to work, is it?
Size doesn't matter.
Size But you turn up in a Tesla, it's like, listen to this. You know?
Times change, Lee. Times change.
It's just not
You just
right.
show your age.
I
Show
mean,
your age.
but what's a boy racer going to do now?
Well, do you know, I think we've talked about this once before. One of my big concerns with the whole EV transition is we're giving what we would know as supercar performance to people without supercar ability.
Yeah.
That is a genuine concern that I've got. I actually see it now starting to appear on social media, and I also see the comments about, you know, insurance on EVs is high. Well, you're damn right it is. You're giving 20-year-olds 400 horsepower. You know, when we were 20 years old, or certainly when I was, you know, 100, 110, it was quite a lot.
Yeah.
And now 4 times that. And we're giving handling and traction to boot on top of that. So, questionable.
They might, controversially, right, limit what you can do in the electric cars with a piece of software in the future.
Would that be a piece of software that the government could turn on without you knowing?
Yeah.
I thought we were going down that track.
Yeah, because, you know, they could turn the electric off, and when they do, they turn the electric off, how are you going to charge your car?
Okay, I get that. And I see that all the while with the conspiracy theories. You know, can the government turn off the electric? Difficult. They don't own the electric. There's more chances actually of President Putin turning off our electric than the government doing it. And, you know, if the electric goes off, yep, the ice maidens
Yeah.
will then say, told you. But quite quickly, they're going to go to the garage and find out that same electricity will not power the pumps or the credit card machine.
That's why, you see, they're trying to get rid of cash.
Cash is king.
It is. That's quite a handy name, isn't it? Toyota's built where?
Burniston.
Yeah. Do they make any electric cars?
Currently, no, not full electric. They do hybrids and yeah, Burn-Aston. They don't have Burn-Aston.
Burn-Aston.
Wow.
There we go, Burn. It's got the name. It's just a perfect name, perfect place. Right, so there you go, the Great British Car Journey now. But don't go anywhere because we're going to be coming back and we've got a plan.
Got an idea.
Got an idea?
Yeah.
We have an
That's for
idea.
later, but have you been naughty?
I think I'm always a bit naughty, aren't I?
Well, I know you don't always sort of subscribe to some of the evangelist pages. That's because they won't have you, let's be honest.
No, I've been banned from that.
But I do.
Yeah.
And you're famous.
I'm famous on the evangelist page.
You are, yeah. Some of it's venom. Where did we start earlier? So let's read you a few, Lee.
Am I going to be ready for this? Am I going to have to beat machine? Am I going to get the beat machine out?
Well, maybe. This is from Jack, who made a post.
Yeah,
The Mac Master. That's you.
that's me.
The guy who makes clickbait videos about his Porsche Taycan, alongside his food reviews, which I happen to think the food reviews are really good, has now said he is trading in his current Porsche Taycan and getting a new one because it has better range and fewer problems. I think you did a video saying that. I don't think that's not...
I thought I was looking at it.
Yeah,
Didn't
okay.
say I was going to do it.
But you did say that better range and fewer problems. I remember looking at the video.
Yeah.
Safe to say the comments section is full of EV haters saying they will unsubscribe and accused him of backpedaling. The reality is the anti-EV viewers funded his Porsche Taycan. Did they?
No, well, my videos made money, and yeah, of course my videos made money.
But you know what? It's your job.
It's my job.
Yeah, okay, fine. He probably likes it and it's a good expense to have on your books.
Can I just say, I've never said I didn't like my Porsche Taycan. You've watched my videos.
I don't think
I've
you have.
always said it's a great car, love the way it drives, but all about choice, and don't take that choice away from it.
You chose the Porsche Taycan.
I chose the Porsche Taycan, yeah.
It's coming. The reality is the anti-EV viewer has funded his Porsche Taycan. He probably likes it and it's a good expense to have on your books if you can buy it through the business.
Correct.
Well, I run a business and my car's not a business. The views and tax benefits won't be as good with a 911. No, maybe not. After all, if he was worried about depreciation and charging, he'd buy a petrol Porsche.
Correct.
So, that was from Jack.
Yeah.
This is a comment from Stephen.
Okay.
He's basically made a living from the gullible.
Right.
The gullible post an agreement which makes him money. Those defending EV posts and they make him money. He's picked a controversial subject and that will get engagement from both sides just to make money, and it's likely thousands. It's a job.
It's my job, yeah.
There was a response to that. The problem is now the anti-EV lot are calling him a hypocrite. As he said, don't buy an EV. Did you say that?
No, what I said is, right, can I just correct him on this? I didn't say don't buy an EV. I've said buy an EV. I've showed the pitfalls of EVs, right? Because EVs are for some people. I've said if you're running around town and you're not doing long distances, EVs, if you're doing long distances, that's what I've said.
Yeah, and I pretty much agree with that, to be fair. That EVs for big distances currently are not ideal.
Yeah.
They're workable. And again, let's be fair, I think you did Land's End to John O'Groats.
I did, John
That's a
O'Groats. Yeah.
Fair old distance, and you made it. But not ideal, but things are changing.
I did to Benidorm as well.
Okay. Where were we? The anti-EV lot are calling him a hypocrite, as he said, don't buy an EV, and the ones with EVs are also calling him a hypocrite. Watch his engagement hopefully go down. Oh, that's venomous.
Oh, venomous.
That's cutting.
Yeah.
Do you know that I look at you, well, I look at as much of it as I can, you know. Maybe I don't always make it to the end. Right, skip a bit. I've been looking at your subscribers.
Yeah.
It's gone up.
It's gone up.
Oh, okay, Greg. Oh, this is a bit cutting.
Okay.
You're not going to like this.
Hit me with it. Give me your worst.
He's an oxygen thief.
I'm an oxygen thief.
Do you know, there's this us and them, it's a bit like Brexit and non-Brexit and all the rest of it. Why can't we just live in harmony and cut out all this venom and all of this crap? Yes, some people love EVs, some people don't. You know, why do we have to have venom? And to be fair, a comment like that is no better than some of the anti-EV comments that you and I both see all the while. Matthew, can't stand his videos.
Don't watch him then.
Oh yeah, I have to do that.
Just don't watch him.
David, you ready?
Yeah.
He's a
I have to agree actually, yeah. David, you're right.
well, I think that's perhaps a bit unfair. Not all day and every day.
Just sometimes.
I can't bear to watch a whole one of his videos. It's about 30 seconds of content dragged out for 20 minutes. I don't agree with that. It's nearer 30 minutes.
In fact, this is probably longer.
He seems to be suggesting that he would have to pay $20,000 to just return the car. I've never seen a lease that requires that. I think he's lying. You know that I worked in the car industry. I was a marketing guru, and it's clearly not a lie, but you've got to pay it for damage and mileage, so you're quite right with that. Andrew, it's a PCP and the car is in negative equity. I think most EVs are. He's also done 70,000 in it, so he's over mileage. No, it's not 70,000, it's 67, isn't it?
67.
Because I looked at it.
You looked.
Porsche will clear the negative equity as part of the deal by the sounds of it. Yeah, maybe they will, and you know, but that's your personal choice.
Yeah.
And of course, as we both know, you haven't made your mind up yet anyway. So when you lot, this is from Mark, when you lot realise a lot of the anti-EV accounts are fake or are just following the fakes, it can be quite a lucrative venture. There are hundreds of anti-EV groups, groups of people on this group keep moaning about for their rhetoric and lies, yet scratch the surface and you'll find an account based out of Vietnam, run by a bot, just trying to get as many clicks as possible. No agenda, no hate, just a business model. I actually don't have a problem with that, but, you know, because of the key bit, no hate, business model. We all make money from whatever we do.
Can I just say though, to the viewers here, you'd think that a large number of my viewers would be EV haters, but I've met evangelists and EV owners, right, who've actually come up to me and said, watch your videos, I love them. I said, oh right, do you hate EVs? He's like, no, we've got one. And I said, well, why do you watch? And it's like, we just find it amusing. Because I'm never, it's always a bit comical.
Yeah, as I said, I think the venom isn't necessary.
Yeah. Anyway, how long do you reckon this video is?
I hope it's over 20 minutes because I've forgotten his name, but you know, he's clearly not watching anymore.
How much content was in this though? It's pretty good.
I'd like to think so. I mean, I'm in it.
So, thanks to David Joyce here. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the little tour around. It's called Great British Car Journey in Ambergate.
It is, yeah, on the A6.
Yeah, it's got a cafe there, which we didn't film. We did have something to eat. Great food in there. It's got a great selection of cars, and they also change. And also, there's cars that you can actually drive if you go to drivedadscar.com, and you can drive the classic cars from the era that your dad had, which brings back a lot of nostalgia. And it's a really, really great place to I'm not sponsored by them, so don't start, they'll say, oh, he's sponsored me by them now. That's what they'll say.
I'm not either.
so it's, but honestly, fantastic place. Come down or up or over and come and see them. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button, because if I get another one, I'm going to lose a load of subscribers.
It's not working though, is it? You gained subscribers.
I gained 1,000 actually from one of the EV videos I did the other day. There is a guy who keeps saying I've unsubscribed, but he keeps coming back in the comments. So what I will say is, if the ones who say I'm going to unsubscribe, remember, it's not
an airport,
so you don't need to announce your departure. And on that bombshell, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you hit the subscribe, because it's going to be good what we're doing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's going to be, and it is good. Trust me. Trust him. Well, don't trust me, because half of you don't, but trust him. It'll be good. Bye bye.
Bye.